My grandma gave me a nickname, and now no one uses my real name. I was born Alara, a name my mom chose because it was strong and unique, but my grandma called me Lulu as a baby, and it stuck. By school, everyone, family, teachers, even friends, called me Lulu. At first I didn't mind, but as I got older, I began to feel erased. My college diploma said Hilara, and at graduation my mom cheered, "That's my Lulu." It felt like my real identity didn't even exist. When I landed my first job, I made a decision. I would only go by Alara. I corrected people at work, changed my social media, and introduced myself differently. But at home, they refused to respect it. I confronted my mom. "I don't want to be called Lulu anymore," I said. She laughed and replied, "You'll always be Lulu to us." Frustrated, I stopped responding to it. Family gatherings became tense. My grandma scolded me, saying, "You're disrespecting the name I gave you." My dad called me dramatic, but I stood my ground. Then a huge opportunity came, a feature in a major magazine. When the article was published, my full name, Alara Monroe, was printed in bold. My boss congratulated me, strangers online praised me, and my family shared the article proudly. "That's our Alara." I saw the comments, friends and relatives confused, calling me Susan Lyra. They spent years refusing to call me by my real name, but now they wanted to claim it. I didn't correct them because I finally won. My mom hated my husband just because of his name. When I first introduced my husband Blaze to my mom, there was an undeniable tension in the air. It wasn't his looks or his manner that bothered her. It was his name. I could see the faint disdain in my mom's eyes every time she spoke to him, almost as if she were silently asking, "How could you marry someone with that name?" At first I thought I was just imagining things, but the tension only grew. Every time they interacted, it felt colder. She would avoid conversations, either shifting the subject or making excuses to leave. I began to wonder if I was doing something wrong. Things finally came to a head during a family gathering when my mom blurted out without thinking, "I can't stand that name." Blaze looked hurt, and I could see the pain in his eyes. It made my blood boil, but I stayed silent. A few days later, I stumbled upon an old family photo in my mom's closet. In the picture, a man named Blaze was standing beside a younger version of my mom. I showed it to her, and her face turned pale, like she'd seen a ghost. "You don't know," she whispered. "I was once engaged to him, but he left me for someone else. My cousin is so stupid, you won't believe this. My cousin Nia recently found out she was pregnant. Here's the twist. She's terrified of having kids. Yet, she and her boyfriend Eli had been skipping protection every time. When the test came back positive, they decided to keep the baby. I couldn't help myself. I asked, if you're not ready for a kid, why weren't you using protection? Her answer left me speechless. We can't afford it, she said, her eyes dropping. I knew things weren't easy for her. She'd been kicked out of her mom's house, scraping by with a part-time job, and still recovering from the pandemic's impact. But I couldn't hold back my frustration. If you can't afford protection, how are you going to afford a baby for the next 18 years? I shot back, her face flushed with anger. You don't get it, she snapped. We'll figure it out. I tried to stay calm, but I had to leave the room. Later, just as I was about to go, she stopped me. You know what's funny? She whispered. Eli bought a new gaming console last month, but we couldn't afford protection. My cousin's foolishness defies belief. Recently, Nia got pregnant. Here's the twist. She's terrified of raising kids, yet she and Eli skipped safeguards every time. When the test showed positive, they chose to keep it. I couldn't hold back. Nia, I asked, if you're not ready for a child, why no safeguards? Her reply stopped me cold. Can't afford them, she muttered, eyes falling. I knew life was tough. Booted from her mom's place, scraping by with odd jobs, still reeling from the pandemic. But frustration flared. If you can't afford that, how will you manage a kid for 18 years? I snapped. Her face flushed with fury. You don't get it, she hissed. We'll sort it out. I tried to cool off but left the room. The air hung heavy. As I headed out, she stopped me. Funny thing, she murmured. Eli bought a new gaming console last month, but safeguards? Too pricey.